actions taken in closed session that were done. Attendance roll call. Clerk Pelican.
Here.
Trustee Lopez.
Here.
Trustee Reed.
Here.
Trustee Galindo.
Here.
Student Rep. Nick Burton.
Here.
And President Maxfield here. Would you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Any changes to the agenda?
No changes.
Looking for a motion? All in favor? Aye. Absent? No? Okay. Move on. District mission statement. We are a collaborative, culturally rich educational community where a rigorous and innovative curriculum prepares our students to be successful contributors to our global society. Item 10, public comments, public business from the floor, non-agendized items. This portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the board on any item regarding board business that is not on the agenda. Without taking action or entering into dialogue with the public, board members may briefly respond to statements made or ask clarifying questions about topics posed by the board. Your matter may be referred to administration. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. And we have cards back there if anybody needs. I got one here, and that's from agenda item 4. Okay. No public comments. 11.0 public hearing. As an elected governing body of the Caledonia Joint Unified School District, the Board of Trustees conducts public hearings for the purpose of maintaining open communication with parents, students, and residents of the Caledonia community and school district. Through the public hearing process, trustees seek ideas and viewpoints regarding the efficiency and quality of district-sponsored programs or any other area of the operation of school and its district, school district and school. The trustees believe that open communication is a key element in the ongoing process of district, school, and program improvement. Item 11.1, public hearing, developer fees. We'll open the public hearing at 6:04. Comments, staff?
Biannually, the state allocation board revises the developer fee amounts that we can charge as a district. So once they do that, we have a study done, and that study substantiates that we can justify increasing our fees. So this is to increase our residential fee to $3.48 and our commercial fee to 56 cents.
Any comments from the public?
I have just a question on that annual developer fee report at the bottom. It said planned expenditures that haven't been incurred, but it's from June of last year.
Yeah, that was included when we had brought the last developer fee piece, so the whole part was taken and put in the packet. But in, I believe it was January, we brought the current year amounts, and you can find those in that packet online.
All right. Any other comments? Okay. I thought that's just a public hearing.
Oh, that's all.
Yeah. I'm going on. Am I missing something? Yeah. So we'll close the public hearing on that at 6:06. Okay. Item 12, reports, recognition, information, discussion items. 12.1, 2016-17 retiree presentation. There's Melvin and myself.
It is my pleasure to celebrate the years that 2 outstanding teachers have spent with us Of course, Mr. Miller, I think, began his career at the age of 15 because he has been with us for 40 years. So thank you, Mr. Miller, for all the lives of our youth that you have touched and for the years that you have committed to the district and also the years that you have represented the Calistoga Teachers Association, which is, I believe, over 20 years, correct? Ms. Megan Swapper, who teaches at the elementary school first grade, we are very sorry to lose you. I know that you will be missed. And Mrs. Swapper has been with us since 1999. Another retiree, Lindsay Olson, is also retiring. He's not here tonight, but we would very much like to honor Mr. Miller and Mrs. Swapper, and if you can come up to the front area, please.
So it's not a plaque. Thank you, and congratulations.
Congratulations. 12.2 Teacher Appreciation Week.
We are going to be honoring our teachers. The state of California celebrates Teacher Appreciation Week, and that will be next week, but we are celebrating it a week in advance. So our culinary teacher, Mr. Berg, and the students who are in the culinary class will be preparing a wonderful luncheon for our teachers at both schools, and that's will be served tomorrow.
What time?
So you're welcome to come and enjoy it.
Okay, fantastic. Tomorrow lunch teacher. Perfect. All right, 12.3 Hope Field Trip Presentation. Very.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Vidi Agapop, and I am here tonight to talk about the Hope Leadership Program, Hispanas Organized for Political Equality. So what is Hope Youth Leadership?
Is it on? On the side?
On the side. There you go. Okay, so the Hope Youth Leadership Program is a statewide development program designed to prepare low-income Asian Latinas in 11th grade for a self-sufficient future that will allow for economic and political parity through a college education. Hope's Youth Leadership Program reaches about 300 high school age Latinas annually, and 32 of these students participate in an intensive program during Hope's two large conferences, Hope Latina History Day and Latina Action Day. The objective of the Hope Youth Leadership Program is to prepare them for college, financial empowerment, and enhance civic participation, and promote healthy living. This year's participants are, girls, if you can please stand up. I have two. Ana Karen Valentin, Gilda Rojas, Vanessa Hernandez, and Maria Rodriguez.
Oh, you have three.
Maria Rodriguez. So session one, we flew to LA, where the girls got a tour of the Walt Disney and ABC 7 studios. There, they learned different careers in STEM and STEAM and got a chance to network with professional Latinas and learn about the careers in both of the companies. At Channel 7, they got a chance to go behind the scenes and learn about broadcasting. Friday was the Latina History Day conference, for which Latina History Day in California was created. This year it brought over 1,000 attendees, and it celebrates the historic accomplishments of Latinas. The keynote speakers included Geisha J. Williams of PG&E Corporation and Candace Campos of Lucas Films. The Comadre Network and exhibit area provided the ladies with an afternoon of networking with some of California's most successful Latinas. They also got a chance to participate in different workshops about career enhancement, issues impacting the Latino community, and personal empowerment. On Saturday, the last day of the session, they got a chance to tour the University of Southern California and attend a student panel where they learned about what it was like for these students to be newcomers to a big campus. And also this was where the ladies got their project assigned, their advocacy project. When we came back to Calistoga, the ladies surveyed 60 Latinas grades 9 to 12. Their homework was to create a PowerPoint presentation about the well-being of Latinas in Calistoga. Their focus was safe driving. And this final project was presented in Sacramento, which brings me to session 2, where the ladies got to present the findings of their survey to the youth town hall, and also they got a chance to advocate for safe driving, and they also met with Cecilia M. Aguiar Curry and Bill Dodd, and they got to present their solutions to have safe driving in Calistoga. One of their findings was that we don't offer driver's ed, so they want to suggest, one of the suggestions was why not have it as an elective period, 7 period, or a zero period, and also like having a hotline where students or anyone in the community can call and if they need a ride. So it was a really successful conference, and the Latina Action Day in Sacramento is designed to facilitate dialogue between our leaders and elected officials on public policy that affect Latinas in California. And here are some pictures of the girls presenting. They had to present, this year's attendance was 400. And our last session is going to be in Riverside, and this is where they're going to be graduating on June 15 and 16. Does anyone have any questions?
Could we hear from one or two of our students, or the three of them, in terms of what their experiences were? Come on, ladies.
Vanessa Hernandez. Hi, I'm Vanessa.
Hello, my name is Karen Bell.
I want to know is how's the Biltmore?
It was really fancy. We got to explore it and it was really nice. Because it was like, it was big, there's a lot of stairs.
Okay.
It was really eye-opening because it was like kind of like downtown. It's really different from their house.
It's very big, and we're in our free time. We got to discover many new places within the hotel, and we even searched it up just in case it was haunted, which we found out it kind of was, but it was exciting.
Okay, one more question, ladies. If you had to tell the board as to why this program should be continued to be funded, what would that be? This is the 4th year, I believe, that we have this program. So why should we continue to invest in the program?
I think this program should be funded because it really opens you up to do, because we live in Calistoga, we can't really like do a lot of outside stuff, but when we went to Sacramento, we were able to talk to Bill Dodd and Cecilia, and it was like really eye-opening because we had never been in that position where we had to talk to an elected official about a problem in our community. And so it really helped us because it made us realize that by doing that, we can help make our community a better place.
I believe that it was something really empowering and it's something really special and important to us because it not only opens our eyes to like the social issues occurring in our community, but it also like gives us awareness and helps us see the ways that we can make a change. Like even if it's just 3 of us, or like how we can involve everyone.
I agree with both of my classmates because, like she said, it is Calistoga. We are a really small town, so there's really not much to do, and we're not really aware of what's going on in the outside world. And once you get down to Southern California, you meet all these other schools where you experience and you listen to all their problems, and you realize that it's not just us. There's more people out there who have even bigger issues.
Nice sales job, Rose. Nicely played. Nicely played.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So in conclusion, I just want to say thank you to the school district for allowing the girls to have an experience like this and participate in programs like HOPE. Thank you.
Good job. Item 12.4, athletic update. Principal Komodo and Ms. Yoder. Here's the slide.
We want to start by some statistics that are pretty fascinating and pretty exciting. If you look, actually, this is quarter 2. Can you go back? I think it's forward 1. I think they're out of order. So the first quarter, here it is. So we looked at the participation rates of the students in each of the sports, and we tracked their GPAs to see how well the students are doing as a team. So this column here is the GPAs. This is the number of students who have a 3.0 and above, and this is the number of students who participated on that particular team. So the opportunities are the number of students that participated. So in the fall, we had 143 student athletes. And then the last column shows how successful they were within their particular leagues. So girls soccer went to the postseason, as well as boys soccer and volleyball. The junior high soccer were the North Valley League champions. Football, they went to the Redwood Bowl. And cross country, we had one student qualify at the NCS fund, or for the NCS fund. The overall team average of 3.10. You know, it's great to see that our athletes are being supported. This year travel was a little more difficult than it had been in the past. I know our football coach does a great job of making sure that kids attend a study hall session. But you know, by the results here, you know, all the coaches are doing a great job of, you know, making sure that the kids are studying and getting to the books as well as participating in practices and competing. In the second semester, or second quarter, again, with the basketball teams, we had 8 teams, JV girls, varsity girls, JV boys, and varsity boys at the high school level. Again, you know, you can look at the number of participants, the number of opportunities for how many, which means the number of students who participated. You know, again, pretty healthy numbers, 92 student athletes. 60 of them had 3.0 or better, and the team GPA average is 3.12. The girls' varsity basketball went to the postseason. Some of the other teams didn't have opportunities because there just isn't a playoffs for those teams. And this is as of the last report card that came out. The year hasn't finished, so we don't have the finals. But looking at where we are now, again, our GPAs are very strong, 3.22 overall, if you compare all the teams. We have 58 students participating overall in the spring sports. As far as the postseason, we don't know yet, and we'll know soon. Actually, the tennis doubles, the girls play in the fall, so they were able to participate in the fall. They qualified for the fall tournament.
Good evening, Karen Yoder, athletic director here. I just really want to commend the student athletes, and we're going to do that in the spring rally where we celebrate all the GPAs and we give out the NCS certificates that really express how dedicated we are. And you know, just having some of these athletes be out of class at 11 a.m., 11:30, 12 o'clock, missing quite a few of their periods throughout the day, and still producing these type of grades really is a testament to not only them, but their coaches and their commitment to truly excelling. So there's very few schools out there that are consistent 3 out of 3 grading periods with over a 3.0 average. So our students are doing it and doing it well. We should be very proud of them.
This didn't make it into the slides, but also in the spring, I did a survey of students to find out interest in sports and which sports were most popular amongst our student body. Of the students surveyed, basketball and soccer were clearly the top 2 sports that were picked. Volleyball was another high-ranking sport. Football was up there too, amongst the boys. Some of the other sports were very low as far as the number of interests. Those include our swim team, or tennis, our track, and cross country. As far as other sports that kids listed, because we wanted to find out if there were things that were missing, as well as the sports that we currently offer. I think we had one student who wanted wrestling, one student who wanted paintball, a couple kids who wanted horseback riding, and I think, which kind of out there, a couple badminton. That one always seems to come up as something that does pop up on our surveys. Wrestling pops up, but not to the same degree. This year, and it seems to change year to year. Last year, badminton was clearly the sport that most people wanted. I'm not sure if it's the timing of the surveys or if it's just a group of kids that we have. But I just thought I'd want to go over that and mention that so people have an idea of what we're missing, or maybe we have too many things.
I had a question.
Sure.
Last year, I looked at that survey with the wrestling ranked real high. Wrestling is would be an alternative winter sport. Right now, we only have basketball during the winter.
Right.
And it's an individual sport. And a lot of these kids, I think, would thrive in that environment. And I would hope that we could consider a wrestling program here soon.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty shocked by the low, responses to wrestling as far as under other. Like you said, last year it was kind of in the middle. This year it didn't come up like it did last year. And like I said, it depends on the kids. It comes up and down. So I think we'll just have to keep surveying and find out what kids want. Maybe next year we'll have a high number of kids.
And so, David, we only had 2 swimmers?
Yes. Well, sort of what I have. 2, yes. That was something that we were very concerned about. I know we had spoken about it at another board meeting. And in the final outcome, yes, some of the returning swimmers just decided not to or didn't get the paperwork in. I know a couple of them had mentioned that they were working, and they, because they're seniors this year, they wanted to work and make sure they had enough money for going off next year to college. And so they couldn't commit the time to swimming. It was their choice.
Yeah, please. Yes, Steve?
So I heard that there was only one, and that person on the swim team, and that kind of shocked me. I talked to some of the former swimmers from last year, and they said that the main reason they didn't join was because the pool here wasn't going to be the practice area. They have to commute to St. Helena to practice, and I think that really, made a lot of people shy to join because I think they're practicing at the same time as the St. Helena team too, and they have to get a special van to go over there, and a lot of people just didn't have time for that. So, yeah.
Do we know why is it that they have to go to San Marino? Also, I should say though that the decision to have the students practice in St. Helena was not made until we knew how many of them were interested in participating. So we were going to hold them here in Calistoga. The fee for the swim team to practice in Calistoga was going to be about $20,000 or so. So we wanted to have the number to justify that expense for such a short practice. So when we knew that we didn't have any more students, based on the fact that they did not comply with completing all the paperwork or the interest wasn't there, that's when we chose to do it in St. Helena.
I had a question in regards to paperwork. What is the process, say, if whoever is collecting the paperwork is not present? Is there a secondary place? I understand this thing, paperwork is being getting lost in the office as well, not to place any blame anywhere, but maybe a drop box somewhere?
We do collect the forms in the office, and then they're forwarded on to Ms. Yoder in her box. So, for example, students bring the forms to either Maria or Marcy or myself. We put them in Ms. Yoder's box, and then that's how they're delivered. That's the process that we're using right now.
Trustee Galindo, that will be changing next year. The CIF is going to all online fillable PDFs. So during the clearance of the student athletes coming into the fall, we'll be supplying and setting up a time where they can come in and actually input the information into the computers, and it'll download actually into Home Campus, CIF Home, and then it's accessible through the NCS office. So things are changing, and that will make it more readily available immediately once it's uploaded into the system.
And there's computers available for the kids?
We can make them available in the library. It doesn't have to be, at the gym area. We can do it in the library. We can have, like a night that parents come in and do the registration, just like we do for, classroom registrations.
Question for them?
I just want to say that the pool has a junior swim team, and there is more interest coming up. The kids have been swimming for the last 3 or 4 years as they were
Well, that's good news.
getting older.
That's
Yes.
good news, good.
Yeah, we've had, we put out an email, excuse me, to last year's list, and then other people were thinking, so we've gotten, there's more interest over there, and that's the pre-high school, younger group. But the whole goal is to get them swimming so they can feed the swim team. And there's definitely more interest this year than there was last year.
Fantastic, good news. Anything else? All right, guys, thank you. 12.5, the riverbank.
That is still in progress. We continue to work with all the parties involved, and we hope that we can actually start perhaps the project in June, but of course, that really depends on whether we're going to get the permits on time for us to be able to do so.
But so, we're still moving forward.
We're still moving forward. Got the funding, going through the steps.
12.6, Mr. McBeard, your student report.
All right. So very recently we had our prom in the San Francisco Bay Area. From what I've heard, it was quite a success.
You didn't go?
I did not go. No.
I saw that in the report.
From what I've heard, people loved it. Great photo opportunity for, in the bay, sunset, bridge in the background. And the only complaint I heard was the food was not up to par, so we'll get that next time. Volleyball is a thing where all the different classes form teams, different grade levels, and they compete against each other, and the winning team plays the teachers at the end. And we're planning that right now, so that should be coming up pretty soon. And then also, just today, we started working on plans for the teacher senior class softball game. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but definitely very soon. And I think everyone's looking forward to that.
All right, good job, Bob. Principal report, Mr. Wyckoff, Mr. Komodo.
Well, thank you. First of all, I thought the food was pretty good at prom. It was well done. What was really amazing about the prom for me was the organization went into it. They did a fantastic job. We loaded a bunch of students into buses with your support. Thank you very much. And we drove down, we got on a boat, and it's the first time I've been on a boat in the bay in this venue. It was just spectacular. Our kids were well behaved. I've been to dances before where kids aren't well behaved, not here, but at other schools. And our kids were spectacular. They were very respectful to the people who worked there, and they were respectful to each other. And we're on a boat, could be some disastrous things that could happen, but nothing did happen. It was just wonderful. It was a wonderful evening. And then we got on the boat later on, and it was just, so BB, I really appreciate all the hard work that you put into that, and your students too, so it was nice. At the beginning when you walked in, there was photos up there about our engineering club, one of our many new clubs on campus. They went to Tech Challenge in San Jose, and they competed with other schools. These kids were very dedicated. They came in during lunchtime, and so was the staff member, Ms. Brooks, who helped them. Came in on weekends to build these projects, to present them. So that was really, really exciting for our students to be a part of. In our report, we list a little bit about what's going on in different classrooms, and I'm going to go over those with you. Of course, this week is the start of AP exams, and our kids are working really hard on that. They did some studying. A lot of our teachers did come in on the weekend to help them to sort of prep for it, which was very generous of their time. Just to let you know, our biotech students in our biotech class are getting 3 college units this semester through Solana College, which is exciting. And if you are in biotech and La Promesa, then you'll be getting 6 units because our La Promesa students are getting 3 units through Sonoma State University. This is not costing them at all, or our district. Both the junior college and the university are paying for all their books and all their fees. So for those students who are seniors, they'll be graduating with 6 tangible units of their level classes, which is really exciting. And then our science teacher 712 took a group of students to the STEAM Symposium. It was the first time they've had a STEAM Symposium at the Luther Burbank Center in Santa Rosa, and they competed. And in the board report, we showed some pictures with some of the awards and talked a little bit about some of those awards. Engagement in school climate, we had their 15 minutes program. How many people were able to see it? I think I saw quite a few there. And so, very challenging 2 days. A lot of preparation time went into it by a lot of people in our community, and a lot. And Heather Baker, who was one of the resource, actually diversion person, was the head person of the whole thing. It was moving, and also, I mean, Will could talk about it too. It was a funeral last day, and it's a good message that the kids hear. And then we had college signing day, which was fabulous. Our college and curriculum coordinator, Ms. Server, put it on. I saw quite a few there too, and the kids became more meaningful, more tangible when they got to sit down and put their name and write it down that they were accepted to this college. And it was powerful too for having their families there. And we barbecued for all the senior class, and it was a nice thing that our district helped there for too. And then we have had a bunch of different field trips, and I've got them listed in the board report. College of San Mateo, Bio-Marin Research Lab, Golden Gate Bridge, Serenity Historical Sites, San Francisco Modern Art Museums, Sacramento State, University of California, Davis, Stanford, River Empire Lumber Mill, and on and on. About half of these were funded by our school district, and the other half was through CEF grants, and so we want to extend our thank you to CEF for continuing to fund those. One of the things that we've asked is maybe if we could get CEF to fund some of the grants in the spring so we can have these field trips spread out through the whole year, because it seems to all come at one time, which is challenging. But I mean, for some of these kids, like I've said in the past, they haven't been to San Francisco or even walked across the Golden Gate Bridge, and this is really opening their eyes to, like the girl said, more than just Calistoga and the experiences. So I really appreciate the staff who put this on, who write these grants, and make this happen for our students.
To piggyback on what Craig is saying, for the junior high, I don't know if you noticed, during every 15 minutes, there weren't any little kids, junior high-sized kids around. It's because we plan to be off campus both days. So on Thursday, the first day we went to Santa Rosa Junior College, as well as Sonoma State University, to walk the campus, to tour the schools, to get a sense of what it's like to be on a college campus and a community college. On Friday, through CEF, we went to Angel Island. It was a great trip, beautiful weather. The kids got on the bus, took the ferry across. And I think some of the kids, when I asked them, well, what's the best part of the ferry ride? It's not the views that you can see Alcatraz in the city and the whole skyline. I mean, I had never been to Angel Island, and it was, the views were just amazing. I mean, it's spectacular. We also went to the Immigration Center. We were able to tour through the exhibits. The kids came back and they talked about the words that they saw written on the stones, the social justice, resilience, and they talked about the impact that had. They could imagine themselves sitting there, in that immigration area as new immigrants. I think it gave them a different sense of, especially in light of what's happening now in the world. It kind of put that all into perspective for some of them. But others, it's all about the view, or it's all about the boat ride. But yeah, I think that was one of our most impactful trips this year. They really enjoyed that. That's all right.
I mentioned briefly the new clubs we have on campus, and 2 of them really wouldn't be in existence if it wasn't for the support of Rotary, which is our Interact, and if you could send our thank you for that, and for Seropolis for the S Club. 2 good service clubs on campus that are providing really some neat projects for these kids to be a part of. So we appreciate the support of both Seropolis and the Rotary in town.
All right, thank you guys. And up next, Principal Lamar.
Well, good evening, everyone. I wanted to let you know first off that our CASP schedule, we just started testing this week. We're having 2 third grade classes test this week. Next week, we have third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade testing. Towards the end of the week, we'll have sixth grade test. We're doing a little bit of a different configuration with sixth grade because sixth graders see one teacher for math, one teacher for English language arts, one teacher for science. So there's some reorganization happening to give students support during that testing. Very proud of the fact that this year at Calistoga Elementary, we did give interim block assessments. Last year we attempted the interim assessments and really found many frustrations in terms of getting the data. Is the data usable? But this year, every grade in grades 3 through 6 did administer interim block assessments in both English language arts and in mathematics. We also are looking in the near future, celebrating first grade and fourth grade of the classes that turned in the most amount of the reading leaves. Additionally, we got the opportunity to field test new curriculum through MySafe California. They did training for grades 4, 5, and 6 regarding fire safety in the home, and actually came and presented even materials for students to take home. So that's why we did do an all-call to those families, letting them know what they were getting. And it's everything from how often to change fire alarms, to the safest way to leave a house in the event of a fire, and also talking about the importance of having carbon monoxide monitors. And so the students then, after the assembly, went outside and got to practice using the fire hoses and hitting targets, and they really enjoyed that. And sixth grade got an extra special presentation because it was hot that day, so they did like a light spritz over them. So they definitely had fun. Also, to let you know, on May 11th, we're going to have Bike to School Day for our elementary and secondary schools. And also, we are having our open house. Additionally, we have our music presentations coming up on May 16th and May 18th. I think the week before is the junior senior high. And also this Friday, we are doing our jogathon at Calistoga Elementary School. We haven't done that for a few years. And actually, I have to say, in 7 years of being a principal, this is my first time doing a jogathon, so I'm pretty eager of seeing a model of it. We have Molly Bastian, who stepped up to be the chair of that event. And so she's worked really hard to outreach to corporate sponsors to help get t-shirts for each of the students. And we're really trying to focus on getting involvement, not necessarily, oh, you've got to get this many pledges. So all of our students are getting a t-shirt, our staff's getting a t-shirt, and our paraeducators are getting a t-shirt to support the event. In order to honor our testing, we are starting at precisely 11:30 a.m. so that my third grade class can finish up their testing. We are going to have a DJ there. And he's done a lot of work in the Mark West District. His name is DJ Dax. He does a really good job of engaging the students. And then because we're having a DJ, we can do announcements as the kids do their laps. And each grade will be doing laps for about a half hour at a time. We are going to be running laps during recess. So that when I did actually get a glimpse of this in St. Helena, and what's nice about it is that the students who are out doing recess often run to the area and encourage the kids to run and give high fives and keep involved. So we have lots of things going on at Calistoga Elementary, and really right now the push is getting our testing underway. Thank you.
Quick question, the jogathon, what's it, is it a fundraiser?
It is a fundraiser for our PTA. It's our main fundraiser of the year.
All right, perfect, thank you.
On that, Nicole, Jeff, anybody, any business that wants to contribute, you can talk to Nicole or anyone at PTA,
We are still
People can-
looking for corporate sponsors.
That's right. People could just put a flat dollar amount, or they could put a dollar or 50 cents per lap or something. You could do one class, a whole class, a grade, a student, whatever you choose. We'd love to have more sponsors on this.
Message heard. Okay, 12.9, articles of interest. Superintendent.
The evaluation need improvement is an article that is very timely. We have a joint committee. We have teachers and administrators, site administrators, looking at revamping, revising the evaluation tool that we use right now. It was part of the agreement that was reached during the last negotiations. And we have Ms. Kathy Bowen, who is our Calistoga Associated Teachers President. She is the co-chair. And the other co-chair is George Valenzuela, who is our assistant principal. So you will be hearing more about that committee. They will be coming to you probably, we're talking about maybe October, to make some recommendations that they will be making to the negotiating teams for the district and the association to basically negotiate the specific terms, not only the tool, but obviously also timelines and other related language, contract language that has to do with teacher evaluations. I'm very pleased that we're finally doing that. It definitely needs to be revised.
And then you have two more.
And the others are also related to topics that we have discussed, special education ruling, and of course, the pension increases this month.
Right. Moving on to the consent calendar. This requires a roll call vote. Actions proposed for the consent agenda are deemed routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless any member of the board, the audience, or staff request specific items to be removed from the consent agenda for separate action. Anything? These are action items, yes. The other thing was looking for a motion. Mark? Julie? All in favor? Aye. Two rep? Okay, gotta go through the roll call. Clerk Appleton? Trustee Lopez? Trustee Reed? Trustee Green? Student Rep Beardsley? And President Maxler? Aye. All right. Moving on, item 14, action items. Protocol for action items includes a staff presentation, questions from the board, public input, deliberation by the board, and voting by the board. During public input, there will be a 3-minute time limit per person. Resolution 14.1, item 14.1, resolution 1617-12, funding for children with disabilities.
I believe you recall last time with Pamela, the director for SELPA was here. She spoke about the need to continue to advocate for additional funding to reduce the encroachment from the general budget. So that's what this resolution is about.
Any questions, comments? Okay, looking for a motion? Mayor? Aye. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 14.2, resolution 161713, resolution of the board of trustees for the bond issue.
And we have brought it to the board and we discussed it. I believe it was during the March board meeting that Kush from CFW was here to talk about issuing general obligation bonds to pay for the COPs, monies or a debt that we owe because we borrow those monies to modernize the 8 classrooms at the elementary. I've also talked to you about how right now we're having going to basically, the payment for that debt is about $300,000, specifically just for that, plus the $100,000 for the Gallas property. So we feel that at this point, it will be in the district's best interest to go ahead and issue general obligation bonds and get rid of that COP debt. Because obviously we want to continue to have the flexibility of fund programs like HOPE, fund the athletic programs and other academic programs that need to continue.
Any comments from the board? Brian Fenton, you have a comment?
Sure. Brian Fenton. My comments are, number one, this was a couple months ago. This was presented to the board as an idea for them to put something together. And now you've got, what, a 140-page document of legal and financial needs for the board members. And I think I don't know if you've had any more time than anybody else, 72 hours to review this document in its entirety and to understand it. I don't find a good summary in here. That was, at least you had a little bit of a summary there, but there's no summary in here I see that, say, compares the cost of maintaining the COP or using the bond funds to pay it off. Also, here you have declared at the bottom of the first page, 178, that the acquisition of any of the projects authorized under the bonds, any way that they were paid for, those are considered authorized project. What did it say? They constitute an authorized project under the bond measure. So the bond measure was pretty generic in its scope. And the question there would be, can you use bond measure to pay off loans that you took 20, 30, 40 years ago under this language? Because you're doing now to a bond measure to pay a loan that you took just a few years ago. Why not something and reimburse your general fund for things far in the past? So I don't see in the language when it says to renovate and improve doesn't mean to pay off past debts that were used to renovate and improve. So that's one of my things. I kind of boggling because there's a lot of documents to read and figure out. And there is no good summary or comparison. I'm also curious on page, and I know you have people here, but page 262, it looks like that is, so you have, I guess, an outstanding balance of the principal. It starts at $5,985,000, and with the payments, it would end up being over $9 million. So is that $9 million then being eliminated? Is $5.9 million from the bond being used to pay off the COP? And can we be assured that there's no double interest, like the bond measure has an interest attached to it, that it's not paying for any of the interest payments for the COP? As you mentioned before, you have a 30-year loan, and then you take out another few years, or you extend it and you refinance is what you're doing. You were essentially, in this case, making a 33-year loan. So that was, I brought that up before, as having a long-term loan. In some of these structures that you're building or renovations, HVAC, et cetera, have maybe a 15, 20-year lifespan. So I'm just kind of like surprised that this intense, in-depth document came forth so quickly. And there's really not a very good summary. I think even for guiding you, there should be some kind of summary that helps you better than what I see in here. Those are my comments. Thank you.
I would like to respond, or also to remind the board that the only document you are actually approving is the resolution. That is the summary, basically, of the action item. Also, Kush, as well as Bruce Kearns, they're here. If they can both please come to the podium and address some of the concerns.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kush Garrett, CFW. Very pleased to be back over here tonight in front of the board. With me is Bruce Kearns from Stifel, the district's underwriting firm, as well as Eric Gonzalez, also from Stifel, the district's underwriters. And we'll be pleased to answer any specific questions you have. Just by way of overview, you're correct, Dr. Montalban, we had come to your district in March. I had been in front of your board in March. And at the conclusion of the March meeting, the direction we had gotten is to work towards a bond program, but to come back to the district for formal approval. No formal approval was given in March to us, only direction to work towards a potential bond issuance was given. On that basis, we've been working with the district's legal counsel, ORIC, a very well-established bond counsel firm. They work with several school districts and they do some work with the state of California as well. We've been working with Stifel, and my staff have been working on putting together a potential structure that would allow you to pay off your COBs and also potentially, not a decision you need to make tonight, but also potentially generate some additional funding, if desired by the board, to begin planning efforts towards future projects. So what you have in front of you tonight is several documents that were prepared by bond counsel, by legal counsel, with some input from my firm, some input from Mr. Curran's firm, relative to the issuance of the bonds. Primarily what you have for your consideration is a resolution. And what the resolution does, it lays out broad parameters for the issuance of the bonds. It lays out, for example, the maximum amount of bonds that can be sold, which in this case is $7 million. I know we said that we need less than $7 million to be able to pay off the COP, but it's a not to exceed amount. So if the board does decide to issue some new money bonds prior to the actual sale of the bonds, you have the ability to do that. It lays out the maximum term of the bonds, which is no more than 30 years. That's the maximum term the new GO bonds can be outstanding. And it lays out certain other parameters. The steps we take from here, assuming the board were to adopt this resolution tonight, is we would go back to the rating agencies, have our ratings updated, and probably in about 60 days from now, we would actually go to the bond market and sell the bonds on behalf of the district. The process would include district staff. We would invite the county treasurer to participate. My firm would participate, Mr. Curran's firm and his traders, the folks who actually sell the bonds, would participate, and bond counsel typically participate in that process as well. It's only at that time that we'll be able to establish the specific parameters for the bond, the exact interest rates by maturity for each of the bond sales, the exact amount of the bonds to be sold based on the constraints of the resolution as well as tax rate constraints, and be able to determine other components, for example, called provisions. For that reason, you may notice that the documents that you have several fill in the blanks, and you're adopting many of these documents in forms. It's another draft version that's incomplete. It's intentionally left blank. What you are doing is you're adopting certain documents in form, the inputs of which will only be available on the day of the pricing, which is the day that the interest rates are set. It's a process where all the parties I mentioned get together on the phone. The underwriter proposes a scale that's reviewed by the financial advisor, our firm, by the county treasurer, and by your staff. And then on a verbal approval by your staff, the interest rates get locked in and the bond transaction gets completed. If this transaction were to be completed, it would essentially pay off the entire amount, both principal and interest, of any interest due on the COBs that were issued a couple of years ago. So the question is whether you would have the responsibility to be paying interest on the GO bonds as well as to be paying interest simultaneously on the COBs. No. On the day that you pay off the COBs, when this transaction is completed, the COBs are no longer a liability of the district, neither the principal nor the interest. And it will be the general obligation bond that you will be paying for on an ongoing basis until maturity. I think that's a global summary. I know that there's some additional documents, as Dr. Mathavan had pointed out. The primary document is an official statement. It's a somewhat thicker document. It's the prospectus that Mr. Burns will send out to his potential investors prior to the sale of the bonds. The investors will utilize that to make an educated decision as to whether they want to buy your bonds or not. There's various credit factors that they will be looking at in those documents. There is also a purchase contract, which has a lot of blanks in there. That's essentially the contract that the district would enter into with the underwriter on the day of the sale of the bonds, specifically memorializing the various interest rates, the call provisions, the term of the bonds, the maximum amount of the bonds sold. which you currently have in the form of blanks. And then there's a couple of other ancillary documents that are typically included as part of a general obligation bond transaction that the bond counsel has included in the board package too. So with that, I'd be delighted to answer any questions that you may have. And Bruce or Erica, would you like to add anything prior to the board having any questions?
Thank you, Kush, for such a good summary. The only thing I'll mention is the use of the language within the original Measure A authorization for the general obligation bonds gives explicit authority to the district to acquire leased property. So we're effectively acquiring 2014 COPs, and since the 2014 COPs, the use of the proceeds from the 2014 COPs were to build or construct or improve projects that were explicitly stated in the measure as being authorized for the expenditure of funds from Measure B bonds. We have both the authority to acquire the COPs and pay them off. Projects within the purpose of the COPs all fall in the eligible list of projects in the Measure
On that note, in our construction project, how are we $5 million short? That's a big number. Why was the COPs needed and why wasn't the bond money enough?
Well, that has to do with the assessed valuation. At the time that we wanted to basically expedite different phases, we could have waited to modernize those classrooms until now that we actually have the authorization to go out and issue them. However, the board at the time chose to, or elected to go ahead and issue COPs and get that work done because we were having some major concerns about the AC units that you will recall that were basically on the roof. And the roof was in not a very good shape, kind of decaying. There was a lot of fear potentially that the structure that could cave in. That was one of the concerns. So for the safety of our students and the board, elected to basically move forward with issuing these COPs.
So basically, if I can paraphrase, we did a COP or a bridge loan between reissuing bonds. Because the bond market at that time, when we took out the COP, wasn't that good. And it didn't make fiscal sense to only get a couple $1 million, if I recall, of what it was going to be. So the rates were excellent, and we did these COP, this bridge loan, to get us to this point. Now, we're here a little bit earlier than we thought we may be, because the market's changed again, correct?
That is correct, sir. You are absolutely correct. That was the intent. The intent was, when the original election was called, it was always the intent to be able to sell the bonds in series. The first series of bonds that were sold in total was approximately $17 million, which was the plan which took care of the first phase of improvements. The plan did call for future improvements. The next series of bond sales was a couple years out after that. However, given the need at the district level, somewhat urgent need, the district elected to accelerate the next phase, bring it forward several years, use a bridge loan to pay for it at that time because we did not have sufficient general obligation bond capacity at that time to pay for it. And the purpose of the bridge loan, or the intent was to pay the bridge loan with a future series of bonds. So it's not a cost overrun, sir. It's essentially a project that was accelerated that we're paying back on the bridge loan for the acceleration of that project. And the intent at that time was twofold, is my recollection. One is this is an urgent project that needs to be done sooner rather than later. And number two, I know that at that time we were still in a very good construction environment, and the district believed that we could get more done with $5 million at that time than you could possibly get done with $5 million later on, which I think has turned out to be true statement.
Good question. How does the bond market look in 60 days? Yeah, well, of course.
I can't tell within 60 days, but we can tell you now with respect to what it has been since the inauguration. It's been, interest rates have declined. They increased sharply following the inauguration and a decrease in recent weeks. So with respect to interest rates over 2017, now is a good time to issue bonds. Not as low as its lowest point last
Right.
July, but still quite a bit lower than it was 4 months ago.
Yeah, my concern with this resolution is it takes the ball out of our court and leaves it in other courts. And if they have a resolution to go out, they have a financial interest to sell these bonds. And so I don't feel comfortable with this. I feel with current events, I understand the need to relieve our general fund. I understand that. That's very important. Education is important. But I'll just leave that at that.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. The recommendation is to approve the attached resolution and authorize staff to take the necessary steps to complete the financing. Indira? Ayes? Aye. Nay?
No.
Unanimous, okay, all right. All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
We'd like to keep you informed about this.
Appreciate it. That was good news, Bruce, thanks. All right, item 15, tentative future agenda items, Up Valley presentation. Okay, all right, you're off the hook, huh? All right. Adley, college and career presentation, would that be Carla?
Carla will be here, yeah. When she elected to wait until noon, because by then she will actually have the accurate information about the students who are accepted.
Oh, perfect. Oh, good, I agree with that. Any Chico State? Any Chico State?
I'm sure.
Okay, all right, good answer. I know, I've been left. IT update and facilities update. Board calendar 16.0, June 5th, regular board meeting, and June 19th, regular board meeting, which may be, I think, somebody's last meeting. Is that correct? But who's counting? She didn't hear me.
Two more.
Okay, 2 more. All right.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Item 17, upcoming events. The week of May 8th is Teacher Appreciation Week, but we're doing lunch tomorrow. Wednesday, May 10th, the concert. Thursday, May 11th, CES Open House. Boy, there's a lot of things going on. May 16th, the concert, K through 3. May 18th, 4 through 6, multiple schools in grammar school. Tuesday, May 23rd, Senior Award Night. That's the Big Gym. Palisades graduation at Hans Baden Winery. President Maxwell and Trustee Galindo will do that. Wednesday the 31st, CES, and that is Clerk Capuchin and Trustee Galindo. Thursday, June 1st is Junior High, and that's Trustee Reed and Superintendent. And then high school, June 2nd, is Superintendent, myself, and Trustee Will. All right, boy, that's coming up quick. All right, no need to reconvene to close session. Looking for the important part? Oh, I think we'll have this. I do. Okay, second. All in favor? All right, thank you, everybody.